Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the talk of the DFS world here, the new internet DFS sensation, Miss Deb Lutz. How are you, Deb?
I'm doing great this morning. Thanks. I feel like a veteran already, one day in.
Hey, everybody's buzzing. Check out Deb on Coach Talk. You're a big hit. Everybody loves your breakdowns already. So, man, you're off to the races here.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Well, today we're a lot shorter slate than we had on Sunday. We only have 4 games today. So we're going to go over those. They all start at a different time, 7, 7:30, 8, and 10. So they're spread out through the night. Nice little card, a lot of news, some pay-up opportunities. So it should be a really good card for us, Deb, to check out here and give some advice. So if you're looking to get our picks and our selections and our lineups, join us, dfscoachtalk.com. You can sign up for as little as 3 days for $10. We have an amazing MLB package that we're putting out there that you get free from now until opening day on April 7th. So it's a great time to check us out, and we would love to have you. Today's podcast is brought to you by BetUS.com.pa. If you're looking for somewhere to bet the Sweet 16 in the NCAA or baseball coming up, BetUS is a fantastic landing spot. There's a lot of states that still don't have legalized betting on games. So whether you have that or not, betus.com.pa is a great place. I've been with them for 16 years, believe it or not, Deb. That's how long I've been playing there. Yeah, a long time. And they're terrific, great lines, great payouts. And we have an offer here right now where if you sign up for the first time with betus.com.pa and deposit $149, you get 2 months free with DFS Coach Talk. So that's it. You don't have to pay a penny. You get 2 free months, all access to everything here at Coach Talk, just to getting out there and giving BetUS a try. So check that out. All the information is on our website, and we'd love to have you try that as well.
Hey, Coach, you actually introduced me to BetUS, and I took advantage of the deal. And nice. it's a year later, and I'm still playing off my initial deposit. It's been great.
Fantastic. Yeah. Have you been able to figure out this NCAA tournament, though?
Forget that. I will say I'm doing pretty well in the women's. I put a women's bracket in.
Which, you're kidding.
Pretty well. But the men's, I lost 2 of my final 4 in the first round. So
everybody did. It seems like Brutal. It's crazy. Well, that's great to hear. And I forgot you did the BetUS package initially. I do remember that now. That is fantastic. All right. Well, let's get into these games. We've got 4 games and a lot of interest here in some of the news that we got to share. So let's start out. First game, 7 o'clock. Both of these teams played tomorrow. So it's the first night of a back-to-back for both of them. It's Golden State at Orlando. Golden State's favored by 7.5. It's a 215 total. 111.25 implied for Golden State and 103.75 for the Orlando Magic. Golden State comes in 47-24, Orlando 19-53. We have a probable tag for Andrew Wiggins, a questionable for Moses Moody, and then we know, of course, Steph, Iggy, and Weissman are all out for Golden State. The big one for Orlando, and the only designation there is Jalen Suggs. He is out again for the Orlando Magic. So statistically speaking, Golden State 16th in the league in pace and Orlando's 10th. Golden State is 2nd in the league after being first almost all year. Boston passed them up, but they're still a stout defense. And now that they have Mr. Draymond Green, they may take Boston back over. So a stout defense against the Magic. Magic 23rd defensively. So some of these decently priced Warriors may be the way to go. So what is your initial thought on this game, Deb?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Warriors for sure here. Aside from the fact that it could be a blowout, There's a few guys that I really like. I think Poole continues to be the play here. You know, with Curry out, he's got the ball in his hands. He takes a lot of shots, and his price is still fair at 7,400.
Right.
The Magic's defense is pretty weak. And so, you know, a lot of people compare Poole versus Clay, and they're priced about the same. I like Poole here. I think he's a better play than Clay. He's good for more assists and steals, a little more reliable. You mentioned Draymond Green being back. He's finally ramping back up. He actually, last game, I guess he got ejected. So that stunted his stats a little bit. So people may not recognize that. They may think he's still, you know, playing a low number of minutes. But I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be ramping up here. He's at 5,800 on FanDuel. That's a great price. Yeah. And I'm really high on him tonight.
He's only 6K on DraftKings too. So
yeah,
he's a good value both sides.
Yeah, nice price. I also like Gary Payton Jr., who's back from injury. He's pretty close to minimum. He's at 3,800. Yeah. Now he may stay on a minutes restriction, so I want to watch for that news. Right. But he's not typically a 35-minute per game guy anyway. So even with just 22 minutes, might be the value that you're looking for at 3,800. So someone to think about, especially if there is a bit of a blowout. He's going to get some run.
I agree.
And then, gosh, you know, the Orlando side, I don't like anybody.
They're so tough, man, to figure.
It is tough. I mean, Suggs is out. You know, Suggs, I know, you know, you've done well with Suggs a number of times, but with him out, Hampton has just been inconsistent. I keep waiting for a big night from him, but I haven't seen it. So he's not going to be my value play. You know, I'm staying away from the front court, even though, you know, Bamba's been solid and Carter's been really strong, but up against Golden State, I'm staying away. And, you know, maybe a Wagner at 5,600 on FanDuel, but really not one of my top choices.
No. And you're talking Franz Wagner, right?
Franz, exactly.
Yeah, Franz. Yeah, you know, I'm with you on this Orlando team. I have watched them the last two games. I mentioned it after the last time they played, and it just looks as though they have really mailed it in. And I think he wants to play a lot of guys, evaluate. I would, you know, I guess, you know, I always try to figure out what are the coaches saying to these guys in the locker room. And I really do think he's basically said to them, listen, we're going to get minutes for guys. This is going to be an extended, basically, tryout for next year's team. And their attitude has changed. I am not pleased with Orlando's way they're approaching these games. Their scores are way down. And again, the rotation is there. I mean, Anthony Hampton, Franz Wagner, Carter, Bamba, Fultz, Okeke, Mo Wagner, Ross, Brezdikas, Harris, and even Schofield. And when they really go deep, they go Robin Lopez. So you're talking like 12 guys now. And, you know, not that they're all heavily in the rotation, but 10 of them are. And, you know, the only guy that's stepped to me above how he's played is Wendell Carter Jr., but he's 8'4" now.
Right. Exactly.
And yeah, and he's going to get guarded by Draymond Green. So that eliminates him. You know, Bamba seems to be the emergency value center that we go to a lot, because it's like, you know, he's going to play minutes. You can justify it to yourself. And he's done okay. But other than that one game where he made 7 threes in the first quarter, that was an aberration. I just don't trust any of the Magic guys in a low-scoring game where, you know, I don't even know if it matters if it blows out or not. I think they're going to rotate like 11 guys at least anyway. So hands off of Orlando for me. I agree with you completely there. On the Golden State side, it's interesting. I think Jordan Poole's going to be very popular again. He and Clay, it's going to be, you know, interesting to watch how that rolls with ownership. Poole on DraftKings is 7.4 and Clay 8.1. So those are the two focal points, one or the other. And I'm going to let ownership dictate that for me, because I think their outcome can be very similar in this game. So I'll be watching that closely. And I'm with you on Draymond. We're in the same thought basis there. Only 6K and 5.8 on FanDuel is cheap. And I think they want to ramp his minutes up. Very sharp point that people that don't realize he got ejected, that wasn't his cap for that game. And I think he gets a decent enough run, certainly, to pay that price. And I think his price will go up. So more than likely, Deb, I'm going to come out of here with one of the guards from Golden State and Draymond and not much else. I think we're on the same page on this one.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Cool. Let's go to game 2. It starts 30 minutes later. It's the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks. And we'll just say it right off the bat. No Julius Randle today. At least we know the news now, so we can figure it out. Atlanta's favored by 3.5. It's a 225.5 total. 114.5 implied for Atlanta. 111 for the New York Knicks. Atlanta's 35-36 coming into the game. The Knicks are 30-41. We have a questionable tag on Bogdanovich. And then out, we still have John Collins, and now Lou Williams is out for this game. For the Knicks, 3 guys, Nerlens Noel and D. Rose, and as we mentioned, Julius Randle. Statistically, again, both on the first night of a back-to-back. So, have to watch that closely. Maybe Randle plays tomorrow and was sitting today. But Atlanta's 21st in pace and the Knicks 28th. So that is not exciting news for us that are DFS players. And it certainly pushes us more to the last 2 games prior or as opposed to this game, except the last game of the night's not exactly a walk in the park. But defensively, Atlanta has been terrible all year. They're 26th, Knicks 10th. So they are decently defensively. And I think with if Obi Toppin gets the start in Randall's place, it's a pretty tight defense there that can cause some trouble. So an interesting game. 225 is a fair total for a game that I don't know if the pace is going to be great or not, but I think you're going to have some exposure here. What are your initial thoughts, Deb?
Yeah, I definitely want some exposure here. What's interesting about this game, I don't know if the Knicks have any life left in them, but, Hawks have the final spot in the playoff picture with the Knicks next up. So, the Knicks are at home. They really want to win this game. They don't have Randle. So I actually like a few Knicks here. I think that, with Randle out, that shakes some things up a bit. And there've been a couple of Knicks playing particularly well. I like Barrett here a lot. Yeah. I think, he's been playing great. His price is fair. And with Randle out, he's going to be the go-to guy against a shaky defense. So I like him a lot. This one I think will surprise you, Coach, because I know you rarely go to him. I rarely go to him, but I like Fournier.
Oh, wow.
He is, yeah. He's 4,800 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DK. He's averaging almost 18 points a game versus Atlanta so 3 games against Atlanta, 18 points a game. He's only at 14 versus the rest of the league. So he seems to play a little better against that weaker perimeter defense for Atlanta. Right. He's been playing pretty solidly. And again, some of those shots of Randle need to go somewhere. So he may be the guy. I think I'm going to play him in a few lineups for sure. And then you got to take a look at Obi Toppin. He's 3,700 on FanDuel and only 3,200 on DK. He's starting in place of Randle, looks like. And, he has only started in 2 games this year, where he averaged 12 points, 6.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, and a block. So that's solid production that you're not going to get elsewhere at 37 or 3,200. So I think, the Knicks, play a lot of minutes, and I think he's gonna see 28 to 32 minutes at least, and could really smash the value there.
I like that call.
On the other side, the Hawks, between Herter and Hunter and Bogdanovich and Gallinari. Trae Young, he's a higher price guy tonight. I'm not going to go to him. I think there's
Right.
better guys to go to at his price range, particularly with the slower Knicks pace. And Capella is probably just a little high given his recent performance at 6,400 on DK.
Yeah.
So neither of those guys are my favorite. Those are usually my go-tos for the Hawks. So I might be a pass altogether on the Hawks. I'm real interested to hear kind of who you're eyeing on that side.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Similar thoughts for me for the Knicks, except Fournier. That guy drives me crazy. But the thing is, if he's hitting his shots, he does fantastic. He's so shot dependent, but I get it. I mean, he does well against the Hawks. You're right, that usage, which is giant for Randall, is going to be spread out to a little bit of everybody. It's not going to be Toppin just taking over that usage by any stretch. Everybody's going to get more shots. So I do like the take there, but I'm with you on RJ Barrett. I think he may be the highest owned player on the slate, really. At 7.6, you got a medium price guy that's scoring. He'll probably take 25 shots tonight, in my opinion. So I think he'll be 100% in all my lineups. So I agree with you completely there. I think Obi Toppin's going to be hard to pass up. He's the value play right now. And again, we always get more value open up as the day goes. But at only 3.2 on DraftKings, and he's cheap on FanDuel and Yahoo as well, he just makes sense. He's active when he's in there. He's going to get you some stocks. And he does make the rest of the buy-ups work. So for me, I know it's chalk city. And again, if you're playing cash, sometimes you got to eat the chalk. And with Barrett and Toppin, I think those two guys are going to get the most play on that side of the ball. But I'm not totally against your Fournier play. It makes sense to me, but not sure I'll go there yet, but it is in consideration. On the Atlanta side, though, I have a pretty strong feeling for Trae Young tonight, though, Deb. I think at 10-4, Atlanta needs to win. They need to solidify themselves at least a spot to get into this playoff picture. Again, it's mind-boggling that they basically had the same team last year and got to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think they're really going to tighten the belt strap here. The coach's job is on the line. And, I just like Trae in this matchup. I know the Knicks don't play fast, but Trae in Madison Square, he likes the bright lights. He's played well there before. And at 10-4, I think it's doable on a real slate that doesn't have a ton of buy-up potential. The other reason I like Toppin, by the way, is I'm not sure how they're going to guard him. Gallinari, I don't know how he's going to keep him off the glass. He's way too quick for Gallo. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. Gallinari smashed for me last time. I have a bit of a soft spot for him at 5-1. Since Collins has been out, he has absorbed almost the entire amount of those minutes and is producing, but, a little risk involved there. So I do like this game, Deb. Definitely the Barrett Toppin with Young and possibly a Gallo shot here. Capella's not the worst play either, but Mitch Robinson's a pretty stout, competitor defensively. And even if they come in, internally with Taj Gibson or Jericho Sims, who will get minutes tonight too, to back up Toppin, a little bit tougher in the paint for those guys. So I think I'm going to stick with the wings and the point for Atlanta and go from there.
I like it.
All right, let's hit that 8 o'clock game. Last two games, these teams are on an island. No game yesterday, no game tomorrow. It's the highest point total on the board by a lot, by 9.5. It is the Chicago Bulls at the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee's favored by 7, 234 total, 113.5 implied for the Bulls, 120.5 for the Milwaukee Bucks, the highest implied of the day. Chicago's 42 and 29, Milwaukee 44 and 27. So those two are pretty tight in the standings. Important game for both. Lonzo Ball is out. He also had a setback, I read yesterday, in his comeback effort. He's got to be off his feet now for another week and a half. So he may be out until the playoffs, or who knows if he'll be back. So rough news for Lonzo there. On the Milwaukee side, we have Giannis probable. I'm counting him in. The big news is Middleton. No Middleton today. So that certainly pumps up everybody wanting to just flood to Giannis. Giannis is going to be massively owned as the pay-up guy today. And it makes sense, but, you got to find the value, especially I will if I'm going to play Trae Young as well. And then Wigginton is probable. That's the only other news on the Milwaukee side. Chicago's 12th in pace and Milwaukee 5th. That's why you've got this big total. But defensively, not too shabby. Chicago 19th, which actually is way worse than they were at the beginning of the year, but still decent. And it's going to get better now that Caruso's back in the fold.
And then Pat Williams. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Patrick Williams, good. That's a good call. And Milwaukee's 14th. So they're sort of in the middle of the pack defensively. They've had a few games where they've given up quite a few points, though. So a great game. I mean, this is a game that people are going to watch the most. This is the TV game, if you will, that's going to have the focus, this game. And then the last one is the two that are on national TV. So is this going to be your feature game of the night with the highest total and a lot of different options here?
Yeah, it's not what I'm staying away from. That's for sure. I see myself probably coming out with 3 to 4 from this game.
Okay.
Giannis, I completely agree with you. He's going to be like 99% owned. But, how can you not go with him? With Middleton out, in a high-scoring game, he's been playing great. It just, it speaks to, how do you avoid him? Because he could end up with a, 60 to 70, and then you're done for the night.
80.
Or 80, right? So he's going to be one of my 2 pay-ups. And the other guy who's going to be pretty chalky probably, but I think tough to avoid given his pricing, is Connaughton. He'll be starting. He gets a little bit of everything. He'll be absorbing some of the, some of Middleton's usage. He's only 4,500 on FanDuel, 3,700 on DK. He's really a bargain given the high scoring offense of the Bucks. So I'm going to be hard pressed to stay away at that price point, which will enable me to pay up for, on the other side. My favorite play is actually Levine, not DeRozan, but Levine, because Milwaukee's, probably their only defensive liability is the defense against the 3. So I see Levine out there hitting his shots, and he's reasonably priced. I mean, he's come, this year he's come way down between the injury and between DeRozan taking some of his usage. He's 7,400 on FanDuel, 7,500 on DK. I think he's a really solid play against again, a fast-paced game, Milwaukee team. So he's going to be someone that I'm willing to pay a little bit for on Chicago's side. A guy on Chicago that I'm looking at is Caruso, who's going to be starting. They've made the decision to start him instead of Io. And he's going to be in my selection pool for sure. At 4,000 on FanDuel and 4,100 on DK. He's got to be out there a lot, trailing Drew, and he should be good for some, some steals and other peripherals. So I like him a lot too.
Yeah. Any interest in the interior that DeRozan, Vuk, either one of those guys?
Yeah, Vuk, I've already got who I'm interested in at center, so staying away from Vuk. He's not a bad play though. And DeRozan, when up against I would imagine Giannis would be guarding him, so I think that makes it a little tougher, and particularly at his price point. So I'm a little less interested. They're not bad plays. I'm just a little less interested.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree. I mean, Milwaukee's Achilles heel has been giving up the 3 ball. So I'm totally with you on Levine. I mean, mid-priced at 7.5. Again, it's been tougher for him this year DFS-wise because with DeRozan and Vuk and all the volume shots, he has certainly been the one that sacrificed the most. But at that price, you know, to be able to attack the Milwaukee team from the perimeter, I think is important. The only thing I'm concerned about here is the possibility of Drew Holiday guarding him. I'm not sure that will take place, but if I was, you know, Coach Bud, that's what I would do, because Drew's their best defensive player on the perimeter, but they don't normally put Drew on the best player. They like him to contain the point guard. And if that is going to be Caruso, I do think that right now I have projected Holiday to guard him and Grayson Allen to guard Levine. So I'm with you on Levine, but I'm going to look for some coach speak and some beat writer info, see if I can get some matchups prior to that game. Again, I'm with you on the same theory. You know, the interior guys a little too expensive for me with DeRozan and Vuk, having to face that stout interior of Giannis, Portis, and then Lopez. Those three guys, you know, really make it tough in the paint. And so, you know, I agree with you that Giannis is somewhat of a must. I'm trying to figure out how I can make it fit properly. Now, I don't want to be on the same exact chalk train with everybody else, because as of right now, you know, without any additional news, everybody on the planet is going to go Toppin. They're going to go Connaughton as, you know, two of the guys immediately that they go to save the Bucks, and Caruso. So those three are going to be the money people save to buy up to Giannis and Trey and and the Joker. So, you know, how do you affect that, and where do you go there? You know, first of all, I think you can only take two out of Trey, Giannis, and the Joker if you want to build if you want to build a competitive lineup. So that's decision number one that affects things here. And then the second part is, do you want to use all the value of Caruso, Connaughton, and Toppin to balance that lineup out? Because it's going to be chalky with only 4 games. Again, if news breaks, it changes everything. But it's just looking at the pattern of those builds and how you can differentiate a little bit. And I think the big differentiation, Deb, is going to be, which one do you sit of Trey, Giannis, and the Joker, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, go ahead.
No, totally agree. I think that there's a good likelihood that one of them doesn't hit.
Right.
The question is which one.
Well, I think you're going to see almost, I mean, I do feel like this is going to be a real chalk slate that you have to look at ownership. And we're going to be talking about that all day in Discord and when we post lineups and everything throughout. So really need to be in tune with us. Join us, dfscoachtalk.com, because this is one of those days that it really matters, because I think you're going to have so many lineups with Giannis at power forward and the Joker at center and those value guys that I mentioned. So you're going to have like 7 guys that pretty much everybody else is rostering. That's what I see. And I haven't seen this much of a chalky type build in quite some time, but that's the way I think it's going to go. So my differentiation, Deb, and this is going to shock you, and I hope Crash isn't listening, but I may not play Giannis for that reason. And, you know, again, you're not going to have touts come on here and be that bold or take stances. Not that I don't think Giannis is a great play, because he is, and he's going to do well. He's 12.1, Joker's 12.4. So the way I look at it, yes, you can get those in with all those value, but I'll take the discount from Giannis down to Trey. Trey's only 10.4, and it allows me to buy up from one of those value plays. So it's more of a theory type build here. And not that I'm saying, hey, coach said don't, you know, fade Giannis. That's not the case. I think you have to have some exposure to him. But what I'm saying in my main build, I'm going to lean more to be, you know, a little differentiation there. Hopefully Giannis just gets 65-ish. I think I can make that up by being able then to buy up from one of those value guys, because between Connaughton, Toppin, and Caruso, somebody's going to bust there. Yeah. And choosing the correct one to fade, where you can buy up to a Reggie Jackson or a, even a Vuk at 7-7 if you do want to go there, or a Portis at 6-6. There's so many options that you can get to on that next level that can get you there. So real strategic day. I wanted to mention that, though, in depth so that I just wasn't like, I may not go Giannis here. But Connaughton's the one guy that I'm thinking maybe of fading, possibly as the guy that is the value play that might not get there, because I don't know the amount of minutes he's going to get. And with Matthews and Nwora and some of these guys and being able to move people around, just a little cautious there. So my contrarian piece today is probably not to have a lot of exposure to the Bucks. But on the Bulls side, Levine, I love. And I think, Caruso may be a solid enough play. Dosunmu will split minutes with him a lot, and they still have Kobe White in the shadow. So Caruso's not a smash play. Levine is. But if I can afford to get up to a little bit of a surprise play like a Vuk at 7-7, one of those mid-range guys that have been higher priced, that's where I may push the button just for that different look to the build.
I love that strategic. No, I love that strategic talk, Coach, because that's what you need on a slate like tonight. To your point, with only 4 games, there's going to be a lot of overlap. So you need that. What's that little edge? I think it's bold thinking. I like it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you can't win if you don't take some stances. Yeah. I always say that on here, and you're always going to get face value and exactly what's in my noodle here, trying to figure out what's going on. But it's not an easy one, that's for sure, and it could change. Again, one big announcement of the guy out and somebody else starting, and then boom, you implode, start over. So it should be interesting. All right, last game, Deb. It's 10 o'clock, standalone, late game, late night sweat game. No other games around it. They're all going to be over, and we're all going to be tuning into chalky Mr. Joker here. Clippers, Nuggets, Denver by 7, 223 total, 108 implied for the Clippers, 115 for Denver. Clippers come in 36-37, and Denver 42-30. Guys out, same as usual for Clippers, George Leonard, Powell, Preston. For Denver, we have a probable tag on Jermichael Green. And then the guys out are Canchar, Murray, Najee, and Porter. So they're still dealing with quite a few injuries there. Statistically, Clippers 14th in pace, Denver 23rd. So not the fastest game. And then you have two, decent tangible defenses here. The Clippers somehow have remained in the top 10 defensively without Georgia and Leonard, which is amazing. They're 9th, and Denver is 15th, right in the middle of the pack. So I know Joker's your center. I know, I get it, and I don't blame you, and he's mine too. But what else after the Joker floats your boat here, Deb?
All right. Yeah, I know. Exactly. I'd be remiss if I said that 3 games versus the Clippers, Joker's 1 assist shy of a triple-double. So, yes, he's locked in for me. But I like Aaron Gordon in this game, and he's another guy who I don't go to very often.
Okay.
He, I believe his last game, he had 30 real points against the Clippers. He seems to play them well. He might be the guy that, I think as you're talking about your strategy, my strategy is I might try and keep Giannis in alongside Joker, but look for a couple of these low-owned guys like an Aaron Gordon. So he's someone that I'm really eyeing. The other guy, who is a pretty solid pick at his price is Will Barton. He's all the way down to 4,400 on Fanduel.
How is that possible?
I know. I mean, he just, but he's not, he's not,
playing well.
He's not playing great. He has not been playing great for a while, but that's starting to look like pretty decent value. So I'm going to evaluate him along the lines of a Connaughton and a Caruso. They're in similar price ranges. And, again, I think you're going to get lower ownership there. On On the Clippers side, it's a lower scoring game. The Clippers share the ball around. I'm not seeing a lot of, really great solid options. I mean, one night it's Coffee, the next night it's, Kennard, the next night it's, Morris. So it's really tough to call on the Clippers side. I think Reggie Jackson's been the one piece of consistency. He's at 7,200 on both FanDuel and DK.
Right.
I think he's someone that you can sort of rely on. I know you've been a huge Morris fan, but at his price point with some of the other guys on this slate, I'm not looking to go to him. So I'm mostly staying away from the Clippers, with the exception of seeing, maybe if I do take a look at your strategy and not play a Giannis and play a Trae Young, that gives me some extra dollars to pay up to a Reggie Jackson. But that's about it for me on that side.
Yeah, Clippers have been a real headache for everybody. I mean, because they just take turns, not just doing well, but take turns playing terrible. Like you'll get a, single digits kind of, with Coffee, Batum, man, everybody's taking shots. Kennard, you take shots at all these guys, and man, it's a risk. But I'm with you. It's hard. I'm not on Morris at all today because I think he gets Aaron Gordon defense. And I think Aaron Gordon is the most underrated defender in the league. I really do. He's terrific defensively. So I really am not crazy about any of the Clippers except for Jackson. And like you mentioned, that's part of my reason I'd like to try to get to him if I can. 72 is a little difficult, but I do think he's their offensive leader. And, he's going to get a defensive mixture of Morris, Highland, and Barton. And I think he can do well against that group. And he does have a tendency to lift his game a little bit for the national TV games. He likes the spotlight. He's a veteran. So he's the only Clipper I like, and I've got to find a way to get to him, which isn't going to be the easiest, but I think he's a good play. I'd like he and Trae Young to really be my point guards, like on FanDuel tonight. So we'll see how that rolls. Barton's price just blows me away. The fact that he's that price, 4.4 on FanDuel, correct?
Crazy.
I mean, there's guys that barely get in that are 4.4. Yeah. And he's only 5.1 on DraftKings. So, I mean, I think he's going to be popular, Deb. I know he's played lousy, but my goodness, that price is crazy. I remember Barton being almost like 8K.
I was going to say in the 7s. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to look at it more, but when you're looking for value here and you're looking for that path, Barton might be a guy that you just can't avoid. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll get enough minutes to pay off. So I do like him a bit. I've been going on Bones Highland, and he's done great for me, but now he's just blown away Monte Morris and Price. So yeah, Morris is 4.6, Bones is 5.3. I like Bones in the 4s, but not enough meat on the bones. There you go. There's a dad joke for you to maybe go that expensive. But Aaron Gordon, I could see at 5K. His price is always low. Great potential ceiling, but awfully, low floor, unfortunately, for Gordon. But I'm with you there. Another value opportunity. And then the Joker. I mean, you can't go into that 10 o'clock game with any kind of lead and not have the Joker and feel like you have much of a chance.
No way.
Yeah. So unless you're up by 100,
right,
you're going to have to start sweating, and that might not be safe. If it's, Denver needs to win, and he's going to get the minutes, and I don't think Zubats or Hartenstein, that's just rough matchups for the Clippers here to try to stop the Joker. So
they'd have to triple team him.
I guess. The sad part about it is even when you double him, he's the best big man passer maybe in history. So he's going to find the open man, and he's going to get it to him right in the passing pocket, and he's going to get the assist. So yeah, triple double is a good bet for him tonight. I agree with you.
So Coach, I have to ask you, so, Reggie Jackson, Jordan Poole, similar value. Pool's going to be a lot higher owned, right?
Right.
Who do you like between the two?
You know what? If I was to make my lineup right now, Deb, I'd have them both. I'd go Poole, Young, Jackson, and again, fade one of the, probably Giannis, but I'd probably go that direction, because if I go with those guys and Trey, like I say, with all of that other value, that we've talked about several times now, and you can put several of these guys in there. Gallo's pretty cheap, Toppin's cheap, Connaughton, Caruso. You've got, Will Barton in that super cheap mode. And if you go, even an Aaron Gordon at 5K makes sense. And you get the big bonus on Draymond only at 6K. So I think I'll be spending up more on the guard spots, at least mid-range guys, and then looking to save dollars on the wings and some of the fours and, those kind of guys. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting build.
Definitely. Yeah, it's going to be fun kind of tuning into Discord and seeing what's going on from an ownership perspective. Absolutely.
So listen, if you're watching this right now on YouTube, this is the perfect time here. Give us that thumbs up. Give us the subscribe button. Hit the little alert in the upper corner. That'll let you know anytime one of our podcast posts. And we would love to have you join us. Go to dfscoachtalk.com and check out our memberships there. All right, Deb, I think we're good to go. Any final words?
Looking forward to tonight's slate. And then I get like five days off until I join up with you again. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, well, I need your advice in the coaches chat there to keep giving me some winners there. And I'll definitely share them in our lineups. No doubt about it.
You got it. I'll be around for sure.
Well, great job again. Great to have you on again. For those that missed the first one, Deb's done the Sunday and Tuesday, and she'll continue to do those. And if we keep getting all this, all these tweets and all these DMs saying we want Deb, we may have to add you to the more shows.
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. So thank you very much.
You bet. All right, everyone. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Tomorrow, always a busy day. We're going to have our NBA pod. I'll be doing that solo. And then we've got our prize picks pod. And we also have our golf PGA this week. A real good tournament going. So busy day tomorrow. You can catch us on right here on YouTube at it's DFS Coach Talk. And if you're looking for any info, our man Colin's always up to speed on Twitter. That's the best place to go. We're all at DFS Coach Talk. And I believe Deb is at Deb Lutz 33.
You got it.
And I am at Joe Sarvati. So check us out, or just jump in at DFS Coach Talk and you can see all of our information, posting, schedules, prize picks, and everything else. So tune in later this afternoon. Also, Crash and I will be putting our NBA prize pick selections up as well. So thank you, Deb. Let's definitely get after it tonight. And we're going to be trying to crush it for our NBA DFS members.